Hello everyone. So in today's lecture we will study about the inference in first order logic and also we understand the generalized modus ponens rule. Okay. So guys, first of all we have to understand that what is inference. Okay. What is inference in the modus ponens rule, right? What is inference in the first order logic? So guys, when we are talking about the when we are talking about an inference rule, right? When we are talking about the inference rule or the first order logic, so in the last chapter we study that we study that the first order logic is mainly used to represent those sentence which cannot be written in the form of PL, that is propositional logic, right? Means in the propositional logic we can only write facts and all the things which are either true or false. Okay, but those kind of sentence which are actually containing all of some of these kind of words in the these kind of words in the sentence. So it cannot be it cannot be it cannot be written. Okay, it cannot be written. So
This meeting is being recorded.
so guys, so inference in first order logic is mainly used due to deduce new facts or sentence from existing sentence. So before understanding the first order logic inference rule, let's understand some basic terminology used in the first order logic. First terminology is substitution and second is equality. So substitution is a fundamental operation performed on terms and formulas, and it occurs in all inference system in the first order logic. And the substitution is complex in the presence of uh, quantifiers in first order logic. So if we write f of a slash x, so it refer to that substitute a constant a in place of variable x. Okay, and next terminology is equality. So first order logic does not only use predicate and terms for making atomic sentence, but it also use another way, which is equality in a first order logic. So for this we can use equality system, which actually specify that the two terms refer to the same object. So for example, brother is a predicate in which we pass John equal to Smith. Okay, so these are the example of equality. So these terminology are mainly used in the first order logic inference rule. So guys, first order logic is a rule for first order logic inference rule for quantifiers is, as propositional logic we also have inference rule in a first order logic. So following are some basic inference rule in a first order logic. First one is a universal generalization and the universal installation and existential instantiation or existential introduction. So first one is a universal generalization. Okay, so let's understand what is universal generalization. So guys, universal generalization is a valid inference rule which state that if premises is true for any arbitrary element C in the universe of discourse, then we can have a conclusion as for all x px it can be represented as uh, p of c if p of c is true, then for all x p of if p of c is true, then for all x px is true. Okay, so this can be used if we want to show that every element has a similar property. So in this rule, x must not appear as a five variables, as a free variables. Okay, so for example, let's represent pc. A byte contain 8 bits. So for all x px, all byte contain 8 bits, and it is also be true. Okay, so next is a universal instantiation. Okay, instantiation, so in which universal instantiation is also called as universal elimination or ui. uh, and this is ui this is a valid inference rule, and it can be applicated multiple time to add new sentence. So the new kb is logically equivalent to the previous kb. So as per ui we can infer any sentence combined by substituting a substituting a ground term of the variable. So UI rule state that we can infer any sentence PC by ground terms C on that on ground term C for all x p of x for any object in the universe of discourse. So it can be represented as for all x px is a true, then obviously its pc will be true. Okay, let's take an example to understand this. So let's take a famous example that all king who are greedy and evil. uh, so let our knowledge base contain this detail as in the form of first order logic. So it can be written as a for all x, if x is a king and x is also greedy, then definitely x will be evil. Okay, so if this information we can infer any of the following statement using universal instantiation. So we can write that if John is a king and John is also greedy, then definitely John will be evil. Okay, next is existential instantiation. So in which existential instantiation is also called as existential elimination, which is a valid inference rule for first order logic, and it can be applied only once to replace the existential sentence. The new kb is not logically equivalent to old kb, but it will be satisfiable if old kb was satisfiable. So this rule state that one can infer PC from the formula given in the form of sum of x px for a new constant symbol c. The restriction with this rule is that c used in the rule must be a new term for which PC is true, and it can be represented as for sum of x. As for sum of x, px will be true, then definitely PC will then sum of the PC will be true. Next one is existential introduction. Okay, so existential introduction is also known as existential generalization, and which is the valid inference rule for first order logic. And this rule satisfy that if there is a one element C in a universe of discourse which has a property P, then P can infer that any exists some any and for that there exists something in the universe which has the property P, and it can also be represented as P of C is true, then for all x Px it will be true. So let's take an example that Priyanka got good marks in English, so therefore some got good marks in English. Okay, someone got good marks in English. So we can generalize the sentence. Okay, next one is a generalized modus ponens rule. So generalized modus ponens rule can be summarized as a P implies Q and P is asserted to be true, so therefore P must be true. Okay, so for an inference and for an inference process in a first order logic, we have some single inference rule which is called generalized modus ponens, right? And it have a uh, lifted version of modus ponens. So generalized modus ponens can be summarized as a P implies Q, and P implies Q, and P asserted to be true. Therefore, Q must be true. So, according to the modus ponens for an atomic sentence Pi and Pi, so where there is a substitution theta such that subset it can be represented as P1 dash P2 dash upon Pn dash. If it is a true, then obviously subset of theta comma Pi will be true. So, for example, we will use this rule for king as a evil. Okay, so we will use king as a evil, not on a end operator. Right, means definitely if we are using an and operator, then two proposition are needed. So the result of P and Q, if we negate, then same value is same value will you will found if you firstly negate the P and negate the Q, and then on that negation you will apply the or. Okay, so this is a De Morgan's law. Okay, so LHS, if you make a LHS truth table and RHS truth table, they both are actually equivalent to each other. So this is the De Morgan's law. Okay, again in the second case, it applies the not condition on the result of P or Q, P or Q. So this is same result you will found uh, if you and the negation P and negation Q. So both the LHS and RHS truth table are same to each other. So guys, I am giving you a one uh, homework to you. So for each properties, as you know that commutative, associative, identity, distributive, uh, just make a truth table of each side, means LHS side and RHS side. Okay, just make a truth table for each and every of properties. Okay, then you will understand properly about the properties of operators. Next property is double negation elimination. So means if you apply negation on any negated proposition, then you will find a non-negated propositions. Means if you apply negation on the negation p, then you will found the value of p. Okay, so this is a properties on this is known as a double negation eliminations. Means if you apply negation on negation, then it remove the actually negation effect. Okay, it remove the negation effect. Next one is a guys. Next one is a limitation of propositional logic. So can't represent relation like all, some, or none with propositional logic. For example, um, we cannot represent actually relation like all, some, or none with a propositional logic. For example, all the girls are intelligent. So guys, you cannot write this sentence in the form of proposition logic. Okay, another example is some apples are sweet. So again, for this sentence you cannot write a proposition logic. So uh, all the sentence in an English sentence, all the English sentence which actually contain all, some, none. Okay, these kind of word are actually contain of any propositional statement in an English sentence, then you cannot write propositional logic for that English sentence. Okay. Next limitation is propositional logic has a limited expressive power. Limited expressive power. And another limitation is in a propositional logic, we cannot describe statement in term of their properties or logical relationship. Okay, properties or a logical relationship. Our next topic is inference rule terminology. So firstly, understand what is inference rule. Okay, first understand what is inference rule, and after that we will learn about the terminology. So first, what is inference? So in artificial intelligence, we need intelligent computer, right? So which can create a new logic from all old logic by evidence. So generating the conclusion from evidence and facts is termed as a inference. Okay, term as a inference. So what is inference rule? So inference rule are the templates for inference rules are the template for generating valid arguments. Okay, generating valid arguments, or you can say inference rule are uh, uh, applied to derive proofs in artificial intelligence. And the proofs is a sequence of conclusion that lead to the desired goal. So in our inference rule, the implication among all the connectives play an important role. Okay, all the connectives play an important role. So following are some terminology related to inference rule. Following are some terminology related to inference rule. First terminology is implication, second is converge, and third is contrapositive, and then inverse. So these are some terminology uh, which are actually used. Okay. So first understand what is implications. Okay, so implication is a one of the implication is one of the logical connectives which can be represented as a P implies Q. So it is a Boolean expression. Okay, it is a Boolean expression, and it converts and what is converse? The converse of implication, which means that right hand side proposition goes to left hand side and vice versa. So it can be written as a Q implies B. Okay. Um, Next one is a contrapositive. The negation of converse is termed as a contrapositive, and it can be represented as not Q implies not P. Okay, not Q implies not P. And next one is inverse. So negation of implication is called inverse. Inverse in the and it is represented as negation of P implies negation of Q. So for this all four terminology, I am showing here the truth table for that. Okay, so here I am taking two proposition, that is P and Q, and see, for the third column I am showing an implication. In the fourth column I am showing a converse, and the third column contra fifth column contrapositive, and sixth column is a inverse. So first, what is implication? Okay, so it show that P implies Q. So for that, third column, we actually apply the implication rule, that is if and then rule. So same for that, we already understand the implication rule means it give the result false only the if condition is true, and then condition is false. So only in the second row it give a value false, because the value of P is true, but Q value is false. So in that case, it give a only false value, and other than that, it will be true. Okay, next one is a converse. Okay, so in converse, again, just took a value of Q first, and then a value of P, then after that value of P. So in the first case both value are true, so obviously value is true, result value is true. In the second case, the value of Q is false, and value of P is true. So if value of Q is true means first, if condition is false, then we didn't check the value of then condition. Okay, it whatever it is, whatever the then condition, in that case, the result will be true. So if condition is false, then obviously it will give a true value. So the second row give a true value. Now again the third row, Q value is true, but P value is false. So if condition is true, but then condition is false, so only in that condition it return the value false. So in a third row I am writing a false value, and again both are false, then in that case obviously true value are resulted. So do you understand the converse? Okay, now next is contrapositive, right? Contrapositive means contrapositive is negation of converse. So negation of converse in term as a is term as a contrapositive. So means negation of Q implies negation of P. So first we actually negate the value of Q. So in a first case, value of Q is true, so for this condition we took false, right? So obviously first condition is false, so the second condition we are not checking, means then condition we are not checking. So obviously here I'm writing a true. Okay, now again second condition, firstly in the second column you know that the second row, the value of Q is written as a F. If we apply a negation operation, then definitely value become a true. So if condition is true, now we have to check about the p, as p value is written as a true, so not p, negation of p is false. So in that case, first premises mean if condition is true but then condition is false, so in that case obviously it give a false value. So that's why in the second column of contrapositive it is written as a false. Now again, for the third case, q is false, q is true, so definitely not q, negation of q is a false. So if condition is false, we are not checking the second condition. So same like that, we put here as a true. Now in the fourth column, now in the fourth row, q value is false and p value is also false. So negation of q is also true, negation of p is also true. If both are true, then obviously it result the value true. Okay. Now for the inverse, what happen if negation of implication is called inverse, means not p implies not q is called inverse. Okay, excuse me. Okay. So uh, here I am taking a value of p and q first. So p value is true and q value is true. So if we negate both of them, then obviously first value for p value is false and q value is also false. So if condition is false, we don't need to check about the then condition. We directly write the result true. Okay. Now again second condition. Okay, the value of p is again false because the value of negation p is false because value of p is true, right? So again, if condition is false, then we need not to check about the uh, then condition. So I'm writing a true. Okay, directly I'm writing a true. Now in this third case, negation of p is true and negation of q is false. Okay, negation of q is false. Okay, remember that I'm talking about the negation of p and negation q in the third row. Okay, so the value of p is false and value of q is true. So obviously negation of p is true and negation of q is false. So false, first value is true, but second means if condition is true, but then condition is false. So in that case, obviously it result the false. Now in the again next condition, if we apply negation on p and negation on q, so we will get a result true true for the fourth condition. So if both are true, obviously result will be true. So guys, if you check that, the inverse and converse both are equivalent to each other, and implication and contrapositive, implication and contrapositive, these both are equivalent to each other, right? These both are equivalent to each other. So guys, actually, a rule of inference, or you can say that inference rule or transformation rule, okay, in a logical forms, it actually consisting a function which takes premises and analyze their syntax and return the conclusion. So for example, a rule of inference called some rule of inference are there are so many rule of inference. So let's understand how many types of rule of inference are present. Okay, so these are the rules of these are the types of rule of inference. First type is modus ponens, second type is modus tollens, third is hypothetical syllogism, and the fourth is disjunctive syllogism, and fifth is addition, sixth is simplification, and seventh is resolution. Okay, so first understand what is modus ponens. Okay, So guys, the modus ponens rule is one of the most important rule in inference. Okay, in inference, and it states that if P and P implies Q is true, then we can infer that Q will be true. Means if P is true, okay, the value of P is true, and P implies Q is true, then we can say that Q will be also true. Okay, so it can be represented as the notation. You can see here the notation of modus ponens is written like that. P implies Q, and P implies Q, and also P, then in that case Q will be true. Okay, for example, if I am sleepy, okay, if I am sleepy, then I go to bed. So for that I am writing a implication rule that P implies Q. Means for P I am writing I am sleepy. For Q, one statement is if I am sleepy, then I go to bed. Okay, and in which Q statement 2 that I am sleepy. Okay, so what conclusion will be we found, then means I go to bed. Means a one statement is given that if I am sleepy, then I will go to bed, and second statement say that I am sleepy, then obviously you will go to the bed. Okay, so hence we can say that if P implies true and Q is true, then in that case Q will be true. So guys, it can be proved by creating a truth table. So guys, see, in a truth table I'm taking a two value of two proposition, that is P and Q, and so for that we apply the proposition rule, right? Sorry, implication rule. So in the first condition both are false, then what happened? P implies Q. In the first condition, sorry guys, in the first condition there is a one mistake in this. For the implication rule, in the first column it should be a value 1. In the first column it should be a value 1, but guys, see, for the modus ponens, it give the result false, because in which P is not true, right? P is not true. So for the result of modus ponens, it is written here 0. Okay, so here you cannot write P implies Q. Here you have to write P implies Q and P. Okay, only in that case you will have a value 0. Okay, again for the same, P implies Q will give P implies Q give a one, value result 1, and the value of P is 0, so obviously it will be 0. So let it be. Now in the second case, P is true and Q is 0, false, right? So if we are talking about the implication rule, definitely it will give a value. It will give a value uh, false, right? And here uh, the value of P is true. So true and false, obviously it will give a value false. So let it be. So guys, both are true, right? If both are true, then implication after implication apply, then obviously result will be true. And also see, the value of P is also true, then you check that the conclusion, that is Q, is also true, right? Means the value of P implies Q, and here I am taking and as a conjunction. Okay, conjunction with P. Okay, the result of P implication Q conjunct with the P. Okay, so if they give a value true, so definitely the conclusion means conclusion what given that, then in that case q will be also true. So see guys, in the truth table it shows that p implication q is obviously true because both value are true, and the value of p is also true. If we and the if we conjunct the true and true, then definitely result will be true. So in that case we see that the value of q is also true. Okay. Next is modest tolerance. Okay, the modest tolerance rule state that if P implies Q is true and not Q is true, then not P also true. Okay, so modest tolerance show that. So modest tolerance what's state that if P implies Q is true and not Q is true, then not P is also true. So it can be written as a P implies Q, P implies Q and not Q. Okay, and not Q. Okay, so the conclusion will be definitely a not P. So I'm taking an example. Statement one say that if I am sleepy, then I go to bed. Okay, this so that P implies Q. Now, statement two that say that I am not go to bed. Then obviously, what conclusion will be infer that it infer that I am not sleepy, because we in a first statement we say that I am sleepy, then I go to bed. Okay, then in second statement I am not go to bed, obviously then it means it's infer that I am not sleepy. Okay, so just take a I'm proofing with that by using a truth table. So guys, firstly I have to prepare the truth table for uh, P implies Q. So guys, P implies Q, um, obviously both are zero, then in that case result will be one. First condition P is false and second condition Q is a true, then obviously true, but P is true and Q is false, so in that case P implies Q is zero, and again for true it's true. So guys see, now I am actually ending with not Q. Okay, not Q, and if the result will be true, so in that case not P is also true. Okay, so guys in the see column number 4 and column number 5 I am ending. Okay, means I am applying a conjunction rule. So first, in the first case both are true, right? So obviously result will be true. So see guys, result will be true, and in that case we see that the not P value is also true. Not P value is also true. Now again for the second case, not Q is false and P implies Q is 1. So obviously after applying the conjunction rule, it give a result 0, a result false, right? So we need not to check about the not P, what is not P and all that, because statement is only says that if P implies Q and means conjunction not Q will result the true, then in that case not P is true. So guys, let it be. Now in the third case P implies Q is value 0 and not Q is 1, so obviously result will be 0, so let it be. Again for P implies Q is 1 and not Q is 0, so let it be because result is 0. So right, it proved that by using a modest tolerance, that if P implies Q is true and not Q is true, then in that case it infer that not P is also true. Okay. Next one is hypothetical syllogism. So the hypothetical syllogism rule state that if P implies R is a true, R is true whenever P implies Q is true, and Q implies R is true, then it can be represented as the following notation. Okay, following notation. So following notation. So for example, if you have my home key, for example, if you have my home key, okay, then you can unlock my home. Means it shows that P implies Q. Statement Q say that if you cannot unlock my home, then you cannot take my money. Okay. It the statement shows that Q implies R. Okay. Statement 2 shows that Q implies R. So if we reach to the conclusion, then if you have my home key, then you can take my money. Okay. Only in that, if you don't have if you don't have my key, then you cannot take my money, right? So by using a truth table, I am proving this. So guys, I am taking here three proposition P, Q, and R. Okay. So first of all, we firstly calculate. We firstly make a truth value for P implies Q, and then Q implies R, and uh, then check that if both value only if these both value are true, then only in that case P implies R are true. So guys, see, in the value of fourth and fifth column, the first row, both value are true, and also the result are true, right? So second value, both in the second row both value are true, so result will be true, right? In the third, both value are not true, so let it be. In the fourth row, both value are true, so result are also true. Again for fifth row, both are not true. Sixth row, both are not true. Seventh row, both are not true. Again in eighth row, both value are true, so result will be also true. Means by using a truth table, we show that if P implies Q is true and Q implies R are true, then in that case P implies R are also true. Okay. Next one is disjunction. Disjunction syllogism. So in in this rule state that if P or Q is true and not P is true, then Q will be true. So it will be represented as P or Q and not P. Okay. So I'm taking an example. Today is Sunday or Monday. So it can be written as a P or Q. Okay. Today is Sunday or Monday. And statement 2 that today is not Sunday means it is not P. So what conclusion we reach? That today is Monday. Okay. So by using a truth table, we show that firstly we calculate that the P or Q. So so in that case, we check that the value. We check that uh, we apply a conjunction rule on not P and the result of P or Q. So guys, in the first case, obviously result will be 0. So let it be. In the second case, result will be 0. Result will be true, and we see that the value of Q is also true, right? Again, for the third row, result will be 0. So let it be. And in the fourth case, result will be 0. So let it be, right? Next one is the addition. Okay, so in addition rule, the addition rule is one of the common inference rule, and it states that if P is true, then if P is true, then um, if P is true, then P or Q will be true. Okay, if P is true, then P or Q will be true. So we are taking an example. If I have a vanilla ice cream, that is P. Okay, and statement 2 say that I have a chocolate ice cream. Okay, so conclusion is I have vanilla or chocolate ice cream. So by using a truth table, it shows that firstly it calculate the P or Q value, right? P or Q value. So only in two condition, it shows the result true. That if P is true, see guys, if P is true, then P or Q is also true. and also see that if P is true, then the value of P or Q is also true. Next one is simplification. Okay, so simplification rule state that if P and Q is true, then Q or P will also be true. It can be represented as in the notion of simplification rule is written like that. So for that, P and Q we firstly calculate through the P and Q proposition. So only one case, it shows that the result, see that if both value P and if P and Q are only true, if P and Q, P or Q are true. Okay. Next one is resolution. Okay, so the resolution state that if P or Q and not P and R are true, then Q or R will also be true. So it can be represented as. So guys, firstly you need to make a truth table for that, and only in third three case it give a result to you, right? Give a result to you. So guys, so in the today's lecture, we will learn about this. Okay, we will learn about the all the inference rule and all the things. Okay, so here is your homework, uh, which you have to done after learning this lesson. Okay. So guys, just go through this book, Artificial Intelligence, which is written by Richard Knight, in which there are so many more examples are given. You can just prove them through the by using the truth table, or there are so many sentences are written there. So just go and learn from this book. Okay.